Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Alex. I'm the founder of Gameplay Candles, the candle company that's designed by and for D&D nerds. We got a bunch of stuff to cover tonight, but let's start off with the first thing we always do, the most fun thing we always do. Let's play that little discount game here. So the way this game works is I'm going to roll a d20, and whatever we roll is going to be added to a baseline 10% discount that's going to be live at gameplaycandles.com. So without further ado, if I switch over here, everyone cross your fingers for a high number this time. Wah, wah. Okay. 17% is the discount tonight. That's 17% off your entire order at gameplaycandles.com. And the checkout code for that is ordinary. Ordinary will get you a 17% discount code that's active for the next hour, so till 10 o'clock Central Time. If you're looking at this and it's not Thursday night before 10 o'clock Central Time, don't worry. We do this every week. Every Thursday at 9, this live stream happens, and first thing we do is one of these discount codes. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to tell you that tonight I'm joined by my wife and business partner, Jessica. And I wrote this little introduction for her. Let's see how it goes.
Can I clarify something on the discount, just because we had someone ask last time?
Oh, sure.
It doesn't include the bundles. It only is for the individual candles. So just an FYI. And obviously, if the individual candles, if you bundle it all together, like if you're buying several of them, it's a better discount to go like tonight's discount than the bundle. So just to clarify. Sorry.
Just to clarify. All right. Well, can I introduce you now?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Classic. Let's see. Her joyful and jubilant attitude made quite the impression last week, and so she's going to join us as we joyfully joust jabberwocks and jaw-dropping locations and experience the jubilant highs and jarring lows of D&D. Welcome, Jessica.
I didn't read that closely, that part of the introduction.
Yep.
Thanks for having me. I didn't.
We got some clutch feedback from some lurkers out there about how the energy that you bring is just a great dynamic to bounce off my non-energy.
That was a lot of J's.
That's what I was going for.
In school, when they're like teaching you the letters of your names, and you have to like come up with letters like J stands for, I don't know, we always had to, and I could never think of anything creative. I should have just, well, if I had known you then, I would always come up with stupid stuff like juggler. Like not a great description of myself, because I don't juggle. Anyways,
Danny's pointed out that stoicism is the word I'm looking for. Yes, I do consider myself a stoic, and I have this great daily calendar of stoic reminders. So doesn't make for a good live stream host, though. Thank God for Jessica, right? Anywho, why don't we get into some business updates? Jess, you got some business updates for the company you want to share?
Yes, we launched our 3 cents today, our newest spring collection. It's live on the website. Yeah, finally. So excited about that. So I have like our jars here just to run through them. They're so amazing. But anyways, so they're now available to the general public. And thank you to everyone who bought yesterday, who was part of our email list. Very nice response. And sorry for any of the technical issues anyone had trying to get in to access. We got your messages. We heard you. We'll do it a little differently next time. Lesson learned. We're trying to be cool and techie, and it didn't really work. but that's okay. I know everyone who wanted candles got candles, so I'm excited like that. We have yet to sell out of any of them yet, but it's been quite the ride, I'll tell you that. So our new candles launched, and so we're still like selling those. They're gold with white labels, and then I think you have some of the jars, babe.
Yeah. So we talked previously about 2 of the 3 cents. We've talked about Palace Gardens, and we talked about Heroine's Realm, and tonight I was prepared to talk about Hero's Domain. You can see it right here. Hero's Domain is the third. Oh gosh, the third candle in our spring collection. And so, God, focus. And so, Yeah, so let me just set the mood here for you. Let's see. Before embarking on epic quests to rescue royalty or save the world, heroes need some place to call home. A place of calm safety and quiet afternoons to grow and mature. A place worthy of saving and motivating enough to answer the call to adventure. Enjoy the tranquility of the hero's domain, that special place any wandering hero would be tempted to settle down in and call home once more. Now, this has some pretty delicate scent notes here, but there's lots of cardamom, bergamot, and sugar tangerine. Like on the top notes is the more effervescent scent notes there, and then it mixes in with deeper notes of patchouli, red clay, ambergris, and labdanum. I thought, Jessica, you were going to get to say labdanum, but
yeah, I can't say that word, guys. I can't
I
tell you
took
how
it for
many times I
you.
practice it. Well, and I was gonna say something that is not like readily apparent about these candles that I just realized as I was like holding them again. The label is a soft touch label with like a gold metallic print. So it's got a very kind of, I don't know, like want to rub it against your face or something. It's like
When
it's
it's not lit. When it's not
well,
lit.
yeah, not lit, obviously. But I was gonna say what I appreciate about this scent in particular, I don't think I've ever smelled a candle like this. It's quite unique. You know how when we were making Dwarven Mountain Hall, which is definitely a unique candle for anyone
Mm-hmm.
who has bought that candle, knows it's quite out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything on the market. This to me is very similar because it's got like a sweetness, but it's also very masculine, very I don't know. Like it kind of reminds me, you know how Wizard's Tower's got that sweetness, but also that like earthiness to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The
That's
sweetness
what I
comes
feel
from the
about this.
tobacco smoke, and the earthiness comes from the bookbinding sense that we've.
Well, and the same thing with Dwarven Mountain Hall. It's got that kind of smoky, but then also that sweetness in it from the like the smoked meat smell, which is like a weird.
It's the hickory smoke and then the spices that makes him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this one to me reminds me of that in the sense that it's got this deep kind of like sweetness, but also very masculine. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
I hear
earthy.
that.
So,
Yeah.
but
So,
yeah,
and I should point out that these are available in two sizes. We just showed the jar, but the tins. This is sort of a size comparison here. 7-ounce jars, 3.2-ounce tins. There you go, and they're both available in all scents up on the website at GameplayCandles.com.
yeah, and another main difference is the wick, right? I think
Oh
most
yeah,
people.
thank you. Who's the candle maker here?
No,
Yeah,
I just
no,
I
you're right. You're right. The wicks in the jar candles are unique in that they're a whisper wooden wick. So you don't have to worry about the wick falling over. Like just last D&D session I had here on Monday, I had another candle, not one of mine, but another candle lit. It was a Cuban cigar scent. It had a really good scent, sweet.
Alex loves candles too.
I love candles.
FYI.
I'm in the right line of business. And but they had this extra thick cotton woven wick, and it had fallen over, I guess, when they were pouring. I'm not sure why that was the case. It would never happen with one of ours, but it fell over and it was burning up against the side of the glass container. And in the middle of a D&D encounter, there's a ping, and the glass container fell apart and it spilled wax all over my countertop. And God knows what would have happened if someone wasn't in the room.
Stop burning other people's candles.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that with our wicks, our wooden wicks. They consume themselves as the candle goes through its life cycle. And the good thing about these whisper wicks is it has a nice little faint crackling noise. Not enough to be distracting. It's not the loudest wick out there, but it's a whisper wick. So very mood setting. If you
yeah, it makes you feel like you're sitting in front of a fire or something, but not like a raging one, right? Like not one you run from.
not a fun one at the Rager that you threw all those years ago. It's more of
Justin, you love Travelers Tavern. I love Travelers
no.
Tavern.
Justin loves Dwarven Mountain Hall, and I love Dwarven Mountain Hall. We both claim you, Justin. You're part of our
yeah, Justin. I remember when we were making Traveler's Tavern, well, when we first like poured it, people were like, that's a lot of alcohol-y smell. And I was like, ooh, I love it. It's whiskey.
Yeah,
Like it smells like a good bourbon.
yeah, that's very true.
Mhm.
Slightly deeper. Oh, a deep, like in the
Ooh,
jars, Danny. Yeah. Well,
he
who
wants
knows
a
what the
deeper
future.
crackle. He wants a more of a raging fire.
Oh well, good news. That's well within most people's means with a fire pit or two.
No,
Uh,
no. We should make at some point. I like this idea, Danny.
well,
At some point, we should do like a limited edition with like some hardcore crackling.
well, I think that's in line with one of the special projects actually, Jess, that we've talked about. Maybe a year-end special candle. I don't
Okay,
want to
so
get too
Danny
much.
doesn't want a raging fire, just to be clear.
Danny, email me 500 words on exactly what you want, and I will investigate what's possible. But we have a project in the works just for end of the year that might use a couple crackling wicks, and we could just up the crackle.
Yes.
Anywho, gosh, what were we even talking about? Let's see. We talked about our candles. We talked about the launch. It's huge. We got
Chicken
those bundle sales
salad.
going. We got those bundle sales now. Double or triple wick
Oh,
would help you with the crackling. We're doing a
Justin's
triple wick.
onto our ideas.
Triple. We're doing it. Yeah, Justin, do you have? Are you a hacker man? Did you get into our server?
Our
Because we're definitely doing a
future.
yeah, multiple wick candle coming by the end of the year that I hadn't considered being wooden wick, but why not?
It
3
should
wooden
be.
wick?
For
It
how
should.
epic it's going to be, it should be.
All right, all right, all right. Material
Well,
used to make
more
the
crackle
gold.
lovers.
Let's see. Josh asks, "I'm curious. What is the material used to make the gold inner lining?" Well, the gold on the tins, it comes that way. I believe it's part of the um, anodizing process because I believe that they're aluminum tins. I'm not 100% sure, but you can anodize aluminum to a bunch of different colors. Not nearly as much as titanium, but I can't afford a titanium candle tin. And as far as as far as the jars, I'm not sure. It looks like some sort of glaze enamel because it is a ceramic jar, and the inside is like a very reflective. You can't really even see it, but it's almost like a mirror finish reflective. So I got to imagine it flows at a high temperature the way like ceramics do. But not to get too material science about it, but I am an engineer, so I do enjoy material science things.
Well,
Pamela Tobias, whom we know personally, confirms it is anodized, and I would challenge Pamela Tobias to define anodization.
no, well, that brings up a good point. I think one day it would be cool if we manufactured our own vessels, but I think that's like another level.
Well, that is a well understood technology that folks in the business that I speak with regularly do for their own candle companies. There's a lot of especially powdered cement mixes and epoxy bound cement mixes that people use to make their own candle vessels. It ain't going to be as good as this. I can't make one as good as this. So until I can, I'm going to be buying it. But it would help us, with our supply lines or supply chains and vertical monopolization of the whole candle making process. But
yeah, I feel like we could have a whole episode too about the science behind different waxes because I did not realize how, the waxes,
we talked about this earlier, right? We're gonna do a blog post that does a deep dive into the different waxes out there and what why we ended up with our premium coconut wax.
It's crazy. But anyways.
Anyways, who the hell cares about that stuff? I mean, we got 5 viewers right now that don't give a crap about I guarantee you don't care about
you know what? You'd be surprised. People care about what's in the stuff they burn. I mean,
well, maybe it's just that I'm super excited I think it's just that I'm super excited for the D&D topic, and I want to get there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well,
No.
last reminders. If you're in Central Texas, we are going to be at ChupacabraCon at the Embassy Suites in San Marcos on May 5th, 6th, and 7th. We want to see you there. You can come smell the candles in person. You can come touch and feel them. And people are texting me that they need candles. And sorry if you're hearing it chime while I'm talking, but yeah. Yes, Sydney, I saw your text. She wants candles. And so we're gonna be at ChupacabraCon in the Embassy Suites on May 5th, 6th, and 7th. So if you are local to Central Texas and you haven't seen in person or bought them, that's the time. Come join us. We're gonna have some cool stuff set up there, and I'm just really excited because it's our first in-person event. Oh my gosh. And more people are texting me. Sorry if it's beeping. Oh my gosh. And Kegs is here. Kegs.
You make a good point. Maybe you do care too much. But I'm gonna have to I just want to get to the D&D topic. I just want to talk about it so much. It's what I've been nerding out about for a long time.
Silence my phone so it doesn't keep going.
It is cutting edge technology.
It's like ringing on my computer, guys. So I'm sorry if y'all are hearing that. My friends texting their thoughts on our candles. Anyways, so the topic for today is the hero's journey. And Alex is really excited about this. Can I just introduce it real quick? Alex is really excited about this because this spring launch is all about the hero's journey. And we're starting first and foremost with the adventure begins. It's where every story begins. Okay, Alex, you can talk because I know you're going to nerd out.
Okay, so I first came upon this idea of the monomyth or the hero's journey like 2 years ago when I was struggling to like come up with a good, compelling D&D story for a new campaign that I was planning. And so I just like searched general storytelling tips. And if you do that for a little bit, you're going to come upon this idea of the monomyth. And what it is basically is it's a narrative template that sort of describes the quintessential hero's journey. It draws common themes and elements from stories of heroes like that span almost every human culture across thousands of years and thousands of miles. There are these like core elements that are common. And obviously there's nothing new about it, but it first came to prominence in 1949 when a man named Joseph Campbell wrote a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And since then, it's sort of been adopted and shaped and formed into different structures for pop culture stories and all sorts of stuff. All sorts of things that you would recognize once you take a deep dive down the Wikipedia page of the hero's journey. And so
why do people care about it though? I think that's why would anyone care about the hero's journey?
Why would people care about the hero's journey? Well, people here would care about it because I found it to be an absolutely epic way to frame out D&D campaigns when you're planning them out. If you're not a dungeon master, you can use this tool to become the most excellent dungeon master. It sort of is a step-by-step guide as to like how a story should progress. And, it's not, it doesn't lock you into anything. It's just a framework for you to fill in all the details and all the relevant story points that make sense for the adventuring party at your table. It's also really fun to come up with examples and recognize elements of the hero's journey in everyday culture. Like I mentioned, like it's been adapted in Hollywood for dozens of years, almost a century. And I would say
it's people a great marketing technique too, just so you know.
Oh, is
we
it?
use it in marketing all day long. It's the psychology behind the hero's journey and how many people I do professional services marketing for a living, guys, and which means I work with lawyers and engineers and scientists and people with PhDs. And when we are talking to them about creating a story for their marketing, we talk to them about the hero's journey because there's a lot of psychology behind the hero's journey. Anyways.
Yeah. I missed a comment here.
Yada
Not
yada. What about the candles?
Not that one. No, but Danny mentioned the life story of Christopher Lee. Dan, are you talking about Christopher Lee, the actor who was playing Saruman in Lord of the Rings? Because that is a life story. And for those of you who you don't know it, he was like part of the British Secret Service, I think, and gave Peter Jackson notes on what it was actually like to stab a dude in the back. Yeah. And he was in a rock band, all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah, Hero's Journey. Yeah, he might be a good archetype to examine. But no
one's biased here or anything. Wow, Alex, your wife is brilliant.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah. Anyway, okay. So let's talk Hero's Journey. Let's back it up a little bit. There are 3 main acts to the hero's journey. It goes departure, initiation, and return. Those are like the 3 large spokes in the wheel. And underneath each of those 3 frames, there's a dozen or so like chapters within each one. And I'm going to cover. That's right, Justin. That's right. I'm going to cover just. I'm just going to cover the
Saruman, right? Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, but he's Saruman, the bad guy.
Saruman the White or Saruman the Multicolored, depending on who you ask. Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
Anyway, okay. Thanks. I'm going to go on now. I'm going to explain the departure phase of the hero's journey. I have six different chapters that we hope to illuminate with candles from our seasonal and holiday lines. So first up, the normal world. Okay, this is an area of knowledge and safety. Heroes aren't really tested there. It's just where they're introduced, and they're already sort of masters of the domain, and their skills meet their needs already. And so the way that this might play out in a D&D campaign is, okay, well, this is the tavern, or the road that the heroes meet on. There's nothing like super out of the ordinary. They might even have a fight, but they're easily able to handle those, giant rats or spiders or whatnot, because it's well within their wheelhouse, and they're not really super challenged by it. That's the normal world. It's like the default setting.
That's what our candles are based on.
That's what this spring line is based on. It's all about safety, security, although not safety and security brought about by any actions of the protagonists. It's brought about by something else or somebody else. Anyway, after the normal world is introduced, there's a call to adventure. Okay, someone or something is going to provide information or motivation to the heroes. This whole information or motivation acts as a call to the unknown, to the other world, not the ordinary world or the normal world. It's to the special world. And that is your typical first plot hook in the D&D adventure, the thing that draws them into the story. After that, what's that?
I said I'm adding sound effects. Bum, bum, bum. Right?
Okay.
We need sound effects on here.
You get a soundboard and we can do a wacky morning drive-by show. But
I was trying to see if we had
this is the driest, most erudite topic possible. And I'm realizing we're going on and on. But I'm going to cover the other ones much quicker. Let's see. There's an optional step here called refusal of the call. And it's just what it sounds like. The heroes might, not answer that call to adventure out of a sense of duty or honor or fear. But eventually they're forced to go. Meeting with the mentor is the next call. And that's when the heroes are committed to the quest, either consciously or unconsciously, and they meet a guide or magical helper that aids them
Yoda.
Well, actually, it would be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Is like the typical, example given.
You didn't read Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, who wrote the book about using the hero's journey in marketing, and he calls it Yoda. He doesn't call it Obi-Wan.
Well, he sounds like someone who's not a nerd, because it would be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, he said it was Yoda. Okay.
Somebody back me up. Somebody back me up here. Who introduced?
the skills of Luke Skywalker and make him better and teach him new things.
Okay. In that movie, it would be Yoda, but like in the overall journey of Luke Skywalker's, heroic journey, it would be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyway, that's meeting the mentor. There's crossing the first threshold, which is the point where the hero actually crosses into the field of adventure, leaving the known limits of his or her world behind and sort of venturing into an unknown, dangerous realm. Maybe it's not a physical threshold, but encountering a D&D enemy that wields like an unknown magic or something that challenges them beyond what they're normally used to. And then there's a final step in this departure phase called Belly of the Whale. And this area represents the final separation from the hero's known world and self. And by entering this stage, the person shows a willingness to undergo a metamorphosis. When first entering the stage, the hero may encounter a minor danger or setback. In D&D, there's danger everywhere, so I'd say this is the setback. So I'm planning a campaign right now, and I really hope that none of my current players are streaming, which is an odd thing to say, but like coming up with a setback, like they're enslaved and they have all their gear taken from them and magical dampening shackles put on them. That would be like the belly of the whale, the threshold that casts them into the unknown, especially when the slavers drive them into an unknown land. So all sorts of fun stuff. That's the departure phase of the first third of this hero's journey.
You're fun to be around, so cheerful and
That's you. I can be a monotone stoic. I'll be what is that guy's name? Ben for Drive, Red Eyes. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I don't know his name. I was gonna say Ben Stiller, and I was like, no, that's not the right.
Ben Stein.
Ben Stein.
Anyway, I'll be Ben Stein. You be every other bit of energy that this platform does.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking how different, like, just even in our own lives, how like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful day, and you wake up and you're like, we're still alive.
No, I can't remember the last time you woke up and said it's a beautiful day. I remember you
no, it's more like I don't want to get up yet, and then I get cheerful after a cup of coffee. Homebrew coffee.
Yes, true.
Just a plug for a coffee for our friends at Homebrew.
Homebrew Coffee Company. Look them up. They're great. So we already sort of talked a little bit about how these candles are all about the normal world. That first chapter in the first chapter in the departure phase of the hero's journey. But I thought it might be fun to just talk about a couple different examples in pop culture so people can see just how prevalent this hero's journey is. And since our 3-year-old daughter has recently got into the princess phase, a lot of the examples that I prepared are straight out of Disney movies, not going to lie.
But Disney is the epitome of monetizing the hero's journey. Like if you think about it, well, they make their money off of merchandise, but they are the epitome of taking the hero's journey and making it into something that's accessible to the masses and entertaining to the masses.
Yeah. Agree. They've had like, almost 100 years worth of practice at it. So let's see. So hero's journey. So the example that I came up with is Triton's Kingdom and The Little Mermaid. Okay. Like even from the beginning, Ariel's fascinated with this unknown land, this other world, but she still resides in Triton's Kingdom. And until she's approached by Ursula, she hasn't encountered anything necessarily like groundbreaking or world shaking or anything like that. Even at the opening where we're first introduced to her and there's a shark chasing her through the human shipwreck, she handles that shark. I mean, it's dangerous. There's danger, but it's well within her means. And she and Flounder escape unharmed. And it's part of this normal world that is a sharp contrast to the extraordinary world of the humans. So Little Mermaid, hero's journey. All right. So
it's in every single Disney movie. I mean,
well, even give us one.
Toy Story, right? Like, I mean, well, you put Aladdin on here, so I don't know if we should.
Toy Story is a great example too, because there's a sharp contrast that shows um, like an unknown call to adventure happens in the form of Buzz Lightyear suddenly shows up during Andy's birthday party. You know, but the ordinary world, Woody is shown to be in charge of and has everything well in hand in Andy's room, and all the toys recognize him as sort of the organizer and the leader. And yeah, it's a very safe and secure environment for Woody until suddenly it isn't. Dun, dun, dun. But
so you just apply, like you could literally apply the plot line to Toy Story to your next D&D adventure. Just don't call it Toy Story, guys. And you know, could have a great adventure.
I mean, so I think I've said this in every single broadcast, but if you are a good DM, then you steal ruthlessly from the things you love, and you can find inspiration almost anywhere, especially when you recognize the hero's journey being applied everywhere that it is. So like, yeah, you're watching Toy Story with your kid, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, we could introduce this element in the D&D campaign or whatnot, and have like a red herring new character introduced that the party's not so sure of, and he's actually a decent human, if not delusional.
Speaking of which, when I was reading that book that I mentioned earlier, the Storybrand book, they put a disclaimer at the front of the book saying this is going to ruin every single book, movie, anything you've ever seen, because if stories don't follow the hero's journey archetype, they tend to not be well received by audiences. So think about movies where there's a disappointing ending, or there is no, a setting of the pace of what the normal world is. It's kind of, if the movie feels disjointed, if you're suddenly thrust into the action of despair, and you have no opportunity to first empathize or feel like you can see yourself in the characters. So that's why it's such a brilliant framework for writing stories and for telling stories.
Yeah, you talk about feeling disjointed, like the concept of the monomyth or the hero's journey is like as old as human culture. There's a reason that humans from around the world in different cultures all have these common story elements, and it's because it just makes sense. It just makes sense to our brains. And so, yeah, if you can use that to frame your D&D campaign, you're going to have a good time. But Jessica,
Pam mentioned the Rambo trilogy, her favorite trilogy.
Yeah.
Sure, Pam.
I'm sure I can, but we can't. We just don't have time to analyze it right now. Unfortunately, it's already 9:32. We've taken up half an hour of these people's time. But I could talk way longer about the hero's journey. I don't know if anyone would be listening after a while, but in any case, make sure you check out our spring collection. It's online at gameplaycandles.com. And for the next, we got 27 minutes still active. You can use the checkout code ORDINARY for a 17% discount off your entire order. And if you don't catch it this Thursday, don't worry. There's always next Thursday. We do this every week.
Yes.
Oh, Mike Herring, you just put in to be a tester. Fantastic. Yes, I don't know. I don't
we
know.
Forgot to say, don't forget to submit your testing if you want to be a tester. Please, please, please. Because honestly, we are not making tea light samples of these guys. So of the spring launch or anything like that. And if you want to smell them before anybody else and give input, you gotta be a tester.
Yeah,
and even then, they don't always make the cut for us. So
Yep, we have 6 candles that are in development, and if you want to be a tester, we'll send you a pack of those testing, or those scents that are in development, and you're automatically then entered to be in a drawing, whereby the winner gets a pick of the litter of any jar candle that they want. They'll just get it.
Aren't we doing the drawing really soon here? Yeah.
Yep. Well. Shoot! Now that Mike's signing up, maybe we'll push it back a little bit so that he can provide some feedback. But yeah, we're going to be doing the first drawing. Well, we were planning at the end of next week. So, Mike, that just means I got to get these cents in the mail to you. But yeah, so
tester,
provide that feedback, and once you provide that feedback, which is done online at a website that's accessible through the little packet of information we send along with the scents, you're automatically entered into this drawing. So thank you, Mike.
That kind of teases, because we are following the hero's journey, what the next line is supposed to be, which is the call to adventure.
Our summer scents. Yeah, we can. It's not too early to talk about them. We have them in hand. So the next line of seasonal candles is our summer line, and it's tentatively scheduled for June 20th, summer solstice, and it's going to try to capture a lot of elements from that call to adventure. And so, my goodness, we have so many chapters and sub-chapters of the hero's journey to get through. Who knows how long it'll take, but I'm committed to it. Summer is going to be about the call to adventure, and it's going to capture the aromas and the feelings of different scenes one might expect, not only in a call to adventure, but also in the summer. So we'll tie that all together and put a beautiful little bow on top of it.
I want to light this candle right now. Sorry.
Well, you better not. You better not. You gotta provide feedback to win it in the drawing. Nah, I'm kidding.
No, this is a 10. They're getting actual jars. Anyways, okay.
All right.
How many candles will our summer launch include? Right now, I think we have 4 scents scheduled, or 3.
No, three scents scheduled, and I should say we're adding several candles to our core collection, which is going to be available at all times. 2 candles between now and the summer line launching, and during the summer months, there's going to be 2 more candles that are added, or 3 more candles that are going to be added to our core collection. Anyway, lots of new candles to come. Stay tuned, please.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Oh my gosh, more comments. I can't keep up with all these comments. What will they be? Okay, well, we're not sharing that yet.
Yeah. Stop asking. We'll keep it out a bit more.
Yeah. But thanks for joining us. Don't forget to get your 17% off. That's better than any of the bundle discounts we have right now. So if you want to get the candles, now's the time.
That's true.
All right. Have a good
night. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you next week.